Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of State Champs at the State Finals as we are recapping the softball state finals from last weekend. All of our program is presented by Lawrence Technological University, as always, sort of alongside former Michigan State Spartan and head coach at Turn 2, Mackenzie Long. My name is Kara Lyles. Kenzie, the dust has settled. We have new champions in 2024, but you were able to call these games for the second year in a row this weekend. How was it?
Oh, it's such a joy to be able to cover these players and these teams and their progress that they've made all year. I think it's super fun to see their success and to see them at the biggest stage and to see the players show up. It's really fun to call and educate the game of softball and just how much we've grown in the state of Michigan. I love talking softball and I love talking players and celebrating players. And so, anytime I get the opportunity to just really reinforce the success of the players and what they mean to the growth of softball, I would absolutely love to do it.
But let's talk about some of these games, starting with Division 4, USA versus Holton. USA wins 11-1. What did you see out of that game?
I mean, this is the fifth year in a row that the USA has won. They've been dominant for the last 20 years. With one little blimp in 2017, they've just been phenomenal. Olivia Green on the mound had 10 strikeouts, but Gabby Crum, she's led their offense over and over again. She's their leading hitter, their leading extra base hitter, and she had a 2-run home run in that game. They just were non-stop. They just were unstoppable. They really, really did a good job of just scoring runs early, often. Just a team that you can tell is well coached, well-rounded, just a phenomenal team and a phenomenal program, and kudos to them for their fifth year, making history in the state of Michigan.
I was going to say, in teams like that, you kind of go in with not even really a chip on your shoulder, but I guess you could say, people are probably expecting you to win, so the pressure just keeps adding up for them, right?
Yeah, and it's really cool to see their success year after year, knowing that they're cycling in a bunch of different players and they're doing it again and again and again. That just speaks volumes to their culture and the program that they developed and the community and the youth that they've developed to bring them up and prepare to win a state championship. And the fun thing is they're doing it different every year. This year they did it with the bats. They've done it with pitching before. They're just a team that just finds a way to win and wills themselves to win. And again, what a great year that they've had.
Well, congrats to USA. Let's move on up a division. Division 3, Ottawa Lake Whiteford taking on Everett. And Everett wins 1-0. What a game that was.
It was a great game. It was a pitching duel. I mean, you have Kyra Gray on the mound for Everett, and then you have Unity Nelson on the mound for Whiteford. It was a pitching duel the whole time. And scoring in the sixth, there was only one hit given up by Unity, and it was the base hit, the RBI, that mattered by Madison Teed. She did a great job in the box. She was competitive the whole time. And just, again, their base running was the reason that they were able to squeak out that run. And it was just it was just a great defensive game and a great game for Division 3. I absolutely loved being a part of it.
Every episode, I feel like we talk about doing the little things right, and they were the perfect example of doing those little things to, it basically won the game for them in a 1-0 game, doing those little things.
Correct. And one of the things that I give Madison Teed, the RBI single, a bunch of kudos with is she got beat by Unity earlier in the game. And one of the things that she did really well is she shortened up and was able to take the inside rise to the opposite field. She was able to make an adjustment, and I love that for her and her ability to produce something when it was really hard to get a run. Unity threw great, and honestly, Kyra Gray, kudos to her. She was phenomenal on the mound. She was tenacious. She was gritty. She did a great job of keeping Everett in the game until they were able to find some rhythm offensively, and that's what it takes. It just took one really important key hit, and kudos to Everett for getting that hit.
We were absolutely loaded up on Saturday with great games. In Division 2, Gaylord versus Vicksburg, 3-2 in 8 innings. What was that one like?
Oh my gosh, that game was so fun to watch. That was a game where Vicksburg actually tied it up in the bottom of the 7th, and they tied it up with 2 outs with the opportunity to win it, to walk it off. Madison Diekman got on with 2 outs, and she was able to score from first base off a single. And again, that was just a game that was just so fun to watch and fun to be a part of. Another one of those games where the little details matter. But overall, Gaylord with the Jones sisters. I mean, the Jones sisters were combined 5 for 8. Jaden Jones was 3 for 4 and Aubrey Jones was 2 for 4. It was just a phenomenal game. Aubrey threw really well on the mound. And it was just a game that I loved the grittiness on both sides. You can tell that it really mattered. Every pitch was super important. At the end of the day, like you said, the little details mattered, and it happened in the base running for not only Vicksburg, but for Gaylord in the end.
What were you like watching that game? Were you getting nervous, all fired up, or are you trying to stay cool, calm, and collected while you're watching?
Oh my gosh, I was so excited for that game. It was one of those things where I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time because Gaylord actually came out and scoring right away. They pounded some runs in, but then Vicksburg was able to find a way to just keep them at bay. And, you know, kudos to Madison Diekman. She played a phenomenal shortstop. She really, really kept Vicksburg in the game. But then again, on the other side, you have Jaden at shortstop that did a phenomenal job. It was fun to see these really big time players, even though Diekman wasn't having her way offensively right away like she would have liked. She did a great job defensively, and it was one of those games that it was just play after play after play was just phenomenal on defense on both sides. And it was a really fun game to watch, and it was a fun game to be a part of, honestly. I mean, again, Gaylord going back to back. That game was the game of the day, no doubt. It was just one of those days where there wasn't a ton of strikeouts. There was a lot of balls put in play, but there wasn't a lot of runs that were scored. There was only like 6 hits on both sides. It was one of those games where the defense had to play at its best, and they did that. And it was just on both sides a great game. And kudos to Gaylord for not, for the run scoring in the bottom 7th and not, feeling pressure. You could see their composure, you could see their grit, you could see their leadership and their maturity. And they just jumped in top of the 8th and right away put some pressure on Vicksburg and found a way to score.
Well, let's move on ahead. We've got one more game to cover. Division I, Hudsonville taking on Lake Orion. Hudsonville came out on top 5-0. What'd you see out of that one?
Gosh, Hudsonville is the real deal. I mean, they went undefeated this season. They were absolutely phenomenal. They were phenomenal in the Final Four. They were phenomenal in this game. Megan Beamer went 2 for 4 in that game. Tessa went 2 for 3 in that game. It was just a game right away that you could see their presence was known. But it was a game that, man, I'll tell you, Hudsonville is very well coached. They do all the details right. They know exactly what they're looking for. And they were ready from pitch number 1. They knew exactly what pitch they were hunting. And they right away scored early in the game and scored 3 in the first inning. That was kind of the difference maker. Lake Orion was kind of chasing the entire game. But hats off to Riley Limburger. She did a good job. In the first inning, she was getting her curveball and they were hitting it pretty hard. And then she changed it into her screwball and she did a good job of keeping them off balance. But overall, kudos to Hudsonville and kudos to a phenomenal year for them. I mean, they just did it year round and they have 2 great pitchers and it was just a great game.
It is incredibly hard, and I feel like some people don't understand necessarily how hard it is to go undefeated. You're playing for months, and to never lose, that's impressive.
It just shows the depth of their team, right? Not only do they have 1 pitcher that can do it, they have 2 pitchers that can do it. They have 1 through 9 that are just phenomenal. And then they have people that are not in the starting lineup that have come through for them. It just shows the depth of their program, but it also shows their tenacity and their ability to just keep going and keep moving forward. I mean, they played a great game against Mercy in the semifinals where they won 10-0. And that was a game that, that was kind of their it game, right? Was that the game that they were able to push a lot of runs in. And that just showed that Hudsonville was there to stay. That was their main mission, was to win a state championship. And they did a great job by performing on the biggest stage.
Well, we want to say congratulations to each and every one of our state champions this year in 2024. Mackenzie, really quick, I want to ask you, our high school season is over, but a lot of these girls are playing travel ball literally like the next day. They're jumping right into travel season. Is there any kind of advice, I would say, that you have into jumping into travel ball season this summer?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the fun thing about high school ball is you start to be selfless, right? You start to do whatever your team is needed. My encouragement for all the players going on to travel ball is do the same thing when you get into travel ball. Enjoy the moments, enjoy it. It's not always about the big hit. It's not always about if you get on, great, celebrate those moments. And that's the biggest thing that I would encourage you is in playoffs in high school ball is every pitch matters. And I encourage all players to take that into the travel ball mindset and let every pitch matter and celebrate every little success that you have, because it was so fun watching the celebrations this past weekend.
Well, I know for an absolute fact that we have some great softball players coming out of the state of Michigan, and I know that their bats, even this summer, are going to stay hot.
Oh my gosh, and I know the middle infielders are going to continue to turn too.
State Champs at the State Finals is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Visit ltu.edu. State Champs at the State Finals is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Turn into softball. Continue to dream big and invest in development. Visit our website at turnintomi.com. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA, and the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan High School Male and Female Athlete of the Year Award.